We gotta act the fool just to get your attention. Gotta burn down buildings just to make you listen.
Yeah.
They don't want to see my pain live and in action. Don't care about my problems as long as I mask them. People die and mothers crying. Men are lovers of themselves. I saw my brother die on TV. Yes, I don't. I know death well. I want to heal my sister. I want more for my brother. I want my father to get old. I want real love for my mother. So much pain up in the streets. I feel like I'm going under. But I do it for my people because we're like no other. George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. Shout out your fallen soldiers right here, right now. Walk through the flaming riots just to make y'all proud. My world is too foul for my unborn child. In that verse, I'm literally saying, like, I don't understand how you can see my pain and see me so frustrated and ask me why I'm doing these things. Why do buildings have to burn and people have to be on the streets for this to be a topic, as if this thing wasn't already happening? So when I see things like people storming the Capitol and then people being led out and in and no one really getting arrested like that, and you don't see no rubber bullets or things of that nature, it make me laugh because I know it'll come like, okay, I'm marking this as something that it'll come back later to my head when we have conversations. Like in Riot 2020, I say, why we gotta act the fool just to get your attention? Gotta burn down buildings just to make you listen.
Yeah.
They don't want to see my pain live and in action. Don't care about my problems as long as I mask them. People die and mothers crying. Men are lovers of themselves. I saw my brother die on TV. Yes, I don't. I know death well. I want to heal my sister. I want more for my brother. I want my father to get old. I want real love for my mother. So much pain up in the streets. I feel like I'm going under. But I do it for my people because we're like no other. George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. Shout out your fallen soldiers right here, right now. Walk through the flaming riots just to make y'all proud. My world is too foul for my unborn child. In that verse, I'm literally saying, like, I don't understand how you can see my pain and see me so frustrated and ask me why I'm doing these things. Why do buildings have to burn and people have to be on the streets for this to be a topic, as if this thing wasn't already happening? Donald Trump has been in office for 4 years, a solid 4. And people still, almost half the nation still voted for him. You get what I'm saying? 2020 is a year of clarity. So when I say clarity, I mean, like, I'm from the South. I'm used to blatant racism. I'm used to Confederate flags. I'm used to nigger, things of that nature. That don't faze me. If anything, that built a fire up inside of me. So when I see things like them storming the Capitol, I'm like, but what happened to, like, the blue lives that mattered to y'all that y'all, like, smashing in between doors? An officer died that day. Had that been a woman died that day. A protester died that day. She got shot in the neck. She died, and she was a vet. Like, had you switch those role reversals and you make those protesters black, and you keep that officer alone dying, everybody would have been going to jail. Nobody would have made it out of that building.
100%. 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't even have made it past the little things.
But I'm not surprised because it's like asking where Miley Cyrus is and Hannah Montana on stage.
Yeah.
This happened. Like, why does white supremacy have to come? Why do people have to storm a Capitol building for people to acknowledge, like, hey, voting for Donald Trump sucked, or hey, this is wrong, or hey, maybe, or hey, like, white supremacy is real and maybe we should talk about it or do something about it? Why people got to storm a Capitol building for you to do that? America is a feeling country, and we don't care about racism until we feel it ourselves. We normally do not care about it until it affects us on a personal level. We know somebody that is going through it. But say, like, I'm a white female in a corporate office and I'm going through resumes and I see Shaniqua name. It takes nothing for me to pass her by knowing she black, right?
Right.
It takes nothing for me to, like, exert my bias and my privilege. I don't think about that, but white people start storming the Capitol and then I start reflecting on myself. Why did it take that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. So I'm Hispanic, right?
Yeah. But
when I was young, I looked white. So, and I grew up in pretty much like a Caucasian neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
I was one of only 2 Hispanic families, but I want to make a point on racism. So I was fortunate that I never got to experience it to myself when I was young, but all my friends were Hispanic. I mean, I literally remember a day. We're like 16, 17 years old. It's Cinco de Mayo. San Jose's packed. We're just walking across the street. Not bothering anybody, but it's jaywalking, right?
That's crazy.
But, I mean, there was cars everywhere. No one could move. Like, it was packed, right? All of a sudden, like, almost out of nowhere, all these cops on horses come up. and they go, you, and you sit down. They pointed to me. They said, you get out of here. And I was like, all right, bye. I didn't know what was going on. All my friends got arrested. They got jaywalking tickets. I was 16 years old, $800 jaywalking tickets. And then that's when I was like, oh.
I mean, how you gonna check me on my native land?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, history shows us this wouldn't even be our land had the Haitian Revolution not happened back in the G in Louisiana. Like, Texas, all of this wouldn't be none of ours, right? Yeah. Texas, California, none of this wouldn't be ours. How you gonna check me on my native land?
Yeah, exactly. This is northern Mexico.
How you gonna check me on my native land? Like, and then tell my friend to go because he's of a fair skin. Like,
but let's get back to what you said. Blue lives matter. Black lives matter. What really matters is the truth, facts, what really happened. So honestly, like the Capitol Hill thing was living proof that it's not blue lives matter, black lives matter. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It's power and supremacy, right?
Let's be specific. It's white male toxicity. Yeah. I just want to be very specific in that. You know what? It's aiding white male toxicity. Because I read this book called Women, Race, and Class by Angela Davis, where she breaks down the fact that we as women have the power to change and affect the world in a very unique manner. And over time, you'll find that even when we make strides, they are taken back by the aiding of white male supremacy. Mm-hmm. White supremacy is based off of white male's toxicity. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. So when we talk about like what the Capitol was a display of, it was a display of white male toxicity, white supremacy in general. And that's just like that. That's what it's like what you said. That's really what matters. If you really look at it that way, it takes you It's like you shouldn't be surprised because America is based on those types of things.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. This just in your face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I was watching something and say it's built into the system.
Yeah.
So like even if you try these things to make it better, it probably won't become better until the system itself inherently is changed.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it's built into the system, so let's say you're riding a bike, right? And you're like, I want to change my bike to go differently, but you're not going to change any of the parts. You're just going to change the tires.
Exactly.
Like, okay, you might have a smoother ride, but the bike's still going to operate the same, right? Yeah. And then the other thing too here is, what I was really proud of, because what I said when it's the greatest country in the world, even though right now we're the most divided, even though racism is like flaring up like hemorrhoids, because so what I call it was like, it was hemorrhoids that over the past couple of years was kind of, it's always been there, but it wasn't flaring up.
Yeah.
Because we had like Obama, we had Clinton. You know what? Trump makes Bush look like a good president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
H.W. Bush looked like a good president, right?
Yeah, presidential.
Yeah, like sure. These people were about Republican issues, but they weren't flaring up the racism. Yeah. So Trump, I don't even know if he did it on purpose or if it's his propaganda or whatever. He's more about power than anything. So he said, how can I become powerful? How can I control? You know what? I'm going to flare up those hemorrhoids of maybe he is white supremacist, right? I mean, he doesn't hide anything. So it's not like you can not know what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
But he used propaganda in the best way. And he used probably the people that are easiest to manipulate. Because I don't know if you guys heard it, but he was on Oprah in the 90s. And he said, if I ever run for president, I'm going to run as a Republican. Because I could say whatever the hell I want, and they're going to eat it up, and they're going to listen to me and believe everything I say.
Thanks.
I'm not saying he's not a white supremacist. I'm not, because I think he's a Trumpist. That's what he is. It's all about Trump, and how can Trump be in the power? How can I control? How can I do the best, right? But what my point is, in the end, America spoke, and the good of America won.
Yeah.
So what was killing everybody else was the minorities, the Democrats, the people that were complaining about the issues. They didn't get out and vote.
Yeah.
They didn't use their power. And so they were complaining and they didn't have any power. Finally, Trump's like, oh, the most votes yeah, but guess what? The Democrat got the most votes in history.
Yeah.
More than you, buddy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's why they won. So what I mean by that is, and why I'm proud of this country, is that it's not about Republican or Democrat. It's not about this. It was about evil versus good.
Yeah.
And the country inherently is good. At least, even if it's a small majority, you know what I mean? It's at least 55% good. Or I'm proud that the people that didn't use their voice finally did. Like Georgia went blue.
Yeah.
I mean, you're from Florida, which is right next to Georgia.
That's definitely
Georgia went blue. You know what I mean? That is powerful, right?
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? So my whole point to that is, I know that racism is real.
Yeah.
I know that
Absolutely.
white supremacy is real, and it's probably going to be real as long as, because they're all in power.
Yeah.
They're trained since they're little. Get into politics. They not only do it, they put their sons, they put their daughters. It's not until Hispanics, African Americans, Asians, or whoever, all the other minorities start to kind of look and go, oh, that's how you control the country. That's how you have power.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to freaking vote. Otherwise, we have no power. You know what I mean? We can cry and complain and all this stuff, but we have to vote. Oh, you know what? The maybe some of the law enforcement's a little messed up. Why don't we start becoming law enforcement officers and fight for good or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more about, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna add into that.
What I'm trying to say is that that's how you use your power. You don't cry about it. You don't whine about it. You vote about it. Maybe we should start teaching our kids to want to become politicians. You know what I mean? What if Congress was what if Congress was 60% African American? Who would be controlling the country? Who would be writing the laws? You know what I mean? What if Arizona flipped to blue?
Yeah.
Hispanics, I'm proud of the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously Trump, talks smack about McCain, which was really dumb because that was his state, right? You know what I mean? So that's just my point. I know it's all real, but the solution is get out there and vote. Get into the areas of this country of government where you can truly have power. Judges, politicians, Congress, all that kind of stuff. That's where the true change is going to come. Because in the end, the white supremacy, they're getting scared because they're seeing that it's kind of like the last fight, the last straw to take over the country.
Yeah, white supremacy and white male toxicity will be deprecated.
Yeah.
In my lifetime.
Yeah. And then again, too, because I'm big on climate change and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing I don't like about like the people in power, that they don't respect the climate, right? They think
respect Mother Nature.
But then I think, you know what? In 10 to 20 years, all of them are going to be dead anyway. So it's Gen Z, right? It's Gen Z and the millennials, right?
Yeah.
But my point is, if we want true change, and maybe, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I believe true change is in the voting boxes. True change is in what you teach your kids young. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, like I was so happy when Obama became president, because you know what he did for the African-American community and all minorities? I can become president.
Yeah, facts.
All of a sudden, I can become president. Now, Kamala Harris, you're a woman. I can become president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of like, and there's nothing wrong with athletes and all that, because I love athletes. Sports is my favorite. But instead of saying, I can only be an athlete to make it. Well, I could become a president.
Yeah.
I could become a congressman. I could become a chief of police. If we infiltrate those things, and that, I don't know if it's the right word or whatever to use it, right?
No, you said it right.
That's where the true change and power is going to happen, right? Because there's more of us than those in power, but those in power, but those in power are the ones that control all those areas.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said 2020 is the greatest awakening. Mm-hmm. I am not surprised with all the shit that's going on.
Not even a little bit.
Like the darkness will show up; it will come out. That's like people who chooses to heal themselves and work on themselves, become love and light and embody that and amplify that. I believe how we heal the world is by healing ourselves first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with everything that's happening. And I really do hope that the next president that we're having will help end human trafficking.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that's a P. It's probably not because it's such a lucrative business, but I mean, just come from a realistic perspective, probably
Yeah.
not. I think true change comes from like a multitude of things. I think voting matters, but I think it's like probably 10% of what really matters. I wrote a song called Powernomics, and it's based on a book by Dr. Claude Anderson, where he talks about the things that we would need in order as a community to amplify our voice and have wealth within all aspects of life. And the first thing he says that we must do is practice group economics, meaning instead of going to a bank to open up a business, you go to your friends, we all come together
helping each
and
other.
we do it like that. The next thing we do is we take that money that we made together and we buy into politics. So yeah, voting matters. Who you put in the seat matters. But what they really doing is saying they're really mouthpieces. You know what I'm saying?
Lobbyists.
So buy your way in. Buy your way to change those laws. And then once you buy your way into changing those laws, you buy your way into like the system.
Yeah.
The system itself, your judges, your policemen, or things of that nature, so that you can keep your community safe.
Yeah.
After you buy those judges, then you buy the media because the narrative itself matters.
Yep.
Then after you buy the media, then you buy the education system because what we teaching our kids matters. So I think voting absolutely matters, but it's like it's a small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. You said it best.
Break
you know,
generational traumas.
Yeah.
Focus on generational blessings.
Yeah,
pretty
facts.
much.
Buy into the systems that control.
Pay to play.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And you said it best. Like, I'm from the Hispanic community.
Yeah.
We're so divided even amongst ourselves.
Same.
Like, I'm Mexican, American. My father's from Mexico. My mom's from here, but she's Mexican. But Mexicans that were born in Mexico and Mexicans that were born here, they argue amongst each other.
Yeah,
and then
man.
even Mexicans that were born here in different parts of California,
Yeah.
well, they're
There's
not
levels.
even the same. There's so many levels.
Yeah.
Like, if we could all just get together, like the Asian community does it really well because they help when they come here. They get together, they help each other, they start
form a
businesses,
community. Yeah.
and they all help each other until they
Yeah.
get on their feet and they move on to the next.
Yeah.
But in my community, you don't see that often, right?
Yeah.
If that change happens in these communities, which are the majority, and we're all helping each other with businesses, we're taking control of media outlets, we're getting into politics, and we're doing stuff that helps our communities, right?
Yeah.
We pay to play,
Yeah.
right? That's where the real change is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And we'll be so much more better when we start depending on one another as opposed to the man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I have these business ideas and I take them to my friend, for instance, actually, never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. But like, when I take my business and it's mine, and I groom it from the beginning to the end, and I bring people along with me to do it. Not only am I invested, but those around me are invested. And that amplifies my buzz and engagement on whatever that business or services it is that I'm providing. Because not only am I interested or invested in it, 3 to 4 others are as well. So it's you only winning. You only winning when you work with others and you own what you working with.
Yeah, ownership. Because it's like owning a car versus renting a car.
Yeah.
Like when you rent a car, you don't treat that thing like your car. You don't wash it. You drive it to put all the miles on it. You know what I mean? But if it's your car, oh man, you wash. Well, it depends. Some people are pretty dirty, but you know what I mean? Yeah, it's ownership.
Yeah,
right?
Facts.
And that's we're in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
So if you live in capitalism, it's all about ownership.
Yeah.
People that own are the ones that control.
Yep.
And we're the pay to play and all that kind of
Facts.
stuff. So the last thing I'll say is a lot of times when I'll just speak for my family, they want to give their kids what they didn't have.
Yeah.
I heard a quote, instead of giving your kids what you didn't have, teach them what you didn't know.
Yeah.
So if the minorities, if the underspoken for, underserved start teaching not giving them stuff, because who cares if you give them clothes or houses houses? No, that's an asset, right?
Okay.
Clothes or cars or things you didn't have. Why don't you teach them things that you didn't know that help you win in life? You know what I mean? Like business, leadership, positive thinking, helping each other, community.
Yeah.
You know, sports is one route, but maybe politics is another.
Yeah.
Maybe create your own company.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, there's so many examples of it, but in the end, it does come down to money. Like I know this is not the best example, but O.J. Simpson. You know what I mean?
Money.
He's African American.
Money.
He allegedly murdered a white woman. You know what I mean? And a white man, and that dude is free.
Yeah.
He went to jail because of his doing.
He went to jail for stealing back his memorabilia.
Yeah, because he got himself in jail,
Yeah.
but he did something that, according to what people are saying, an African American would never get away with.
Yeah.
But he was an athlete. He was wealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had the money, right?
Yeah.
So that's my point.
It was also a big deal. And you also not finna kill no white woman, and it not be a big deal no matter what race you are. So.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like allegedly, right? We're all like,
yeah. And man, this is almost as controversial as the Twilight thing. I don't want to get into this, man. We're treading lightly here.
Yeah. But anyways, no. But I mean, that's all I'm saying is like, we are the majority. If we just change a little bit of the thought process, we could become very powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's all how you think, pretty much. In the end, it's all how you think and stuff like that.
I think that we already are powerful. We are creators.
Facts.
It's like, what are you creating though?
Facts.
What are you putting your energy and power into?
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why I love this medium, because getting back to reading, right?
Yeah.
Reading is probably the best way to learn, but nobody reads anymore. And nobody wants to watch an hour TV show with commercials. They want their 5 to 10 minute or to 1 hour show. And they want to watch selectively what they want to watch. And they want to learn through videos. So what I'm learning through the research is video learning is the now most powerful form of learning out there.
Facts.
Because they don't want to read a book. They'd rather watch a 5 to 10 minute video.
I love YouTube.
Yeah.
You can learn anything on YouTube.
I love you, YouTube.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
The Google of videos.
Yeah.
It's information. That's all it is, right?
Facts.
Information or entertainment.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So YouTube channels are like media companies. They could be little tiny hobbies if you treat it that way. But if you treat it like a media company, you become a media company. You influence. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan, his podcast gets billions of views. Like billions of people are watching that thing.
Yeah, just to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, he says something. Some guest comes on there and says something. He moves the needle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, that's another thing. Hey, people of color, minorities, get into YouTube. Start creating. Start creating stuff that's positive or that can move the needle.
Yeah, people of color, create your own YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. Right, not just YouTube. Create your own YouTube.
Create your own YouTube. Yeah. Go out, be great. Take those ideas. You're full of ideas. You're full of inspiration. You pull from a place of flavor. Take that and own it.
Flavor.
Yeah, you pull from a place of flavor. Take that and own it. Like people of color, create your own YouTube, and then people of color, go support that makeshift YouTube that was just made by that person of color. Yeah. That's how that works.
Hey, that's a $1 billion idea right there.
That's how that works.
Yeah. So
don't shut them down though, YouTube. Don't shut them down, YouTube. Yeah. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah, no. So anyways, let's get back to reading because I know you're very passionate about reading.
Facts.
Where did your passion for reading come from?
My mother. My mom was always great. My mom and my dad were always great. My dad was like a classroom dad. He was
like a teacher,
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, people knew him before they knew me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's why partly why I was popular because everybody liked my dad. He snuck his way on the coaching sports for me and everything. Like my dad was super supportive. He's always had my back. But my mom was also super supportive, but she was more so supportive in different areas. So for example, she would always read stories before we went to bed, and my dad was a good reader, but he read normal, like this, that, this, that, this. Mm-hmm. My mom was more like a this, that.
She was a storyteller.
Yeah, she was like a storyteller, and she changed voices and tones and things of that nature. So, having that as a child, when I read now, I hear voices, tones. I see figures, faces in my head. So that makes reading so much more entertaining for me. Mm-hmm. And that's how I was introduced to reading. I was introduced to reading as a show, as a production. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's how it go on in my brain.
They say facts tell, but stories sell.
Yeah,
because stories connect with the heart.
Yes, sir.
Because I remember I used to love reading when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I read the book called The Indian in the Cupboard. Do you remember that one? Or do you know? Okay, so it's a good book about like a little boy who plays with this Indian, but it becomes real and he goes into the Indian's world. But I would literally play the movie in my head and I would like devour these books and I wouldn't put the book down until I was done.
Yeah.
Because, as a creative person, your brain when you're young is like, it's like
through the roof.
It's like Disney in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I used to love it, but I don't know where somehow it lost it. But that was powerful. You said that.
Yeah, you became an adult. You had other shit to do. Man.
Oh yeah, I do remember this book. The first woman that ever flew an airplane.
Amelia Earhart?
Yeah, Amelia Earhart. When I was maybe 10 years old, I remember reading that book. It was such an adventure. Like I can visualize everything, imagine everything. After that, I don't know what happened. I lost it when it comes to reading books.
Mine was the Addie Girl, the American Girl series. I don't know if y'all know what that is. It was like an American Girl series, so it's a bunch of different series. Yeah. And the only black girl in the book series was Addie. But Addie had like 6-7 different books, and I still got this collection to this day. I plan on reading it to my kids.
That's cool.
Because it was cool because Addie's mom was a seamstress in the story, and if you think about the time, it's written in like slave time. So if you think about the fact that she was an entrepreneur, Addie would go back and forth to her mother's shop and things of that nature. Like that's powerful. Yeah. The smallest things as a child that was said to me, I notice now. Something as simple as like a character's mother in a book was an entrepreneur and had her own business.
That's awesome.
Even in slave times. It resonates for me now as a 27-year-old woman. Yeah. So.
Well, the other thing I want to add, I realized when we're talking about books, right? What Amelia Earhart was doing was basically following her bliss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See?
She was. And she was breaking
10 years old and I didn't even know what following your bliss was about.
You didn't even know.
Like, she didn't care what nobody said. She wanted to do what she wanted to do.
Yep.
And she followed her bliss.
Yeah. She definitely broke barriers back then.
I heard someone said revolutionary thoughts are crazy. Yeah. Like no revolutionary ever had like common thoughts.
No.
They never thought like the same person. They were always thought to be like off their rocker.
Crazy people change the world.
Period.
You know who calls you crazy? Average people.
Yeah. And average people are no fun.
Yeah. Well, I think also people are just afraid of themselves.
Yeah.
Afraid of their own light and power. Like they think they can't do it, but in reality, we're all creators.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to.
There's like just a blockage there. If you guys have a favorite book out there, you want to post it down in the comments, let us know as well.
Yeah.
People are just hating. They're just hurt themselves and they think they can't do it. So they're hating on other people who are doing it.
Yeah, facts.
So, if you can't find a book, go to goodreads.com.
Yeah.
Follow me. Follow me. I got plenty of good books out there.
How do they follow you on Goodreads?
You just look at my name, Marisha Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm right there.
And you also have an art vlog.
Yes, I have an art vlog. It's called Risha the Art Plug.
Okay.
I started it last year. It's got 5 episodes, and we got another 5-episode season coming out this year in March of 2021.
Where do you film like your vlogs and stuff usually, or?
So Risha the Art Plug is mobile. I basically am going. That's actually how I met Joe. I basically go out to different events that I find interesting by people of color, and I display their arts in all different forms of fashion. So
that's cool.
I've done.
It's a nomadic.
Yeah. It's nomadic. Yeah, I'll be everywhere. So I've been to like the California African American Museum in LA. Okay. I did a vlog on that. I did a vlog on the Chrysalis Space. Mm-hmm. I've done a vlog on dinos down there in Oakland. Mm-hmm. I've done a couple different ones for sure. So.
And I appreciate you saying that because this is going to become a travel vlog too. So Bliss Seekers will be a travel vlog and a nomadic podcast.
That's dope.
Because I want us to go to an amazing place and then podcast about it after. That's
dope.
And maybe we set it up, if it's possible, in that area. Maybe in who knows, in the mountains or whatever, you know.
I guess we better stay single, huh?
Yeah. Or bring your partner with you.
Or that. Buy a van.
We'll see.
Yeah, buy a van.
I was thinking of buying an RV and just taking off. So when travel opens up and all that kind of stuff, I want to be nomadic. We want to travel. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that because you're already doing it with the art.
That's
you know
dope. Yeah, man. I love it. I love.
Where can they find your YouTube channel? What's the name of the channel?
Oh, so right now you'll find all of my art vlogs. Reach the art plug on my IGTV. Marisha_Ashanti. That's Marisha_ASHANTI. And there you'll find all of my content. You'll find book reviews. You'll find how to get to me on Goodreads. You'll also find any music that I have going on. That's like the hub right now. Is my IG.
Nice.
All right, and we'll leave it in the description below too as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow and share.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and you also a singer songwriter.
Yeah,
tell us
man.
about your music.
Oh man, that's my baby. That's my heart and soul. That's the reason I'm able to express myself the way I am. Right now, I got an EP out called Civil Disobedience. It's a love letter to my community. It's about 5 songs. All songs are dedicated and made for and by Black people. It's just a way for us to feel healing in a moment of like such a high political climate, like where we are begging to be heard. We are begging for someone to see that we matter. Sometimes we have to see ourselves, that we matter. Sometimes we have to hear it from others. Sometimes we need moments, and spaces where we can just be ourselves. And civil disobedience is a moment in a space and an explanation for what we doing, how we feeling, and what we look like. So
yeah, it does start with that. How you believe and feel about yourself.
Facts.
Everything starts from that. True change starts from within.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's powerful, man.
Yeah, the first I actually wrote my first song that I wrote while I was down here in the Bay was Dear Mr. President. And the first verse is like, Dear Mr. President, it's become irrelevant what you tweet to me. He shut down right now, by the way. All I see is fake news.
I love that
Pictures
line.
of the Hutus of the Pelly. Don't care about the Hutus. So come November, you lose and give up the seat out of office. Throw a fit. I don't care. Tour families everywhere and cut the culture deep. But America
When
will
did you
rise.
write the song?
I wrote this in 2019. Actually, 18.
Wow, you predicted the future.
Yeah, so I said America will rise, built on native land. I can feel my ancestors in the sky. Can't you see we intertwine?
Yeah.
Can't you see we won't be great until we all have our rights? But until then we'll lose. But in God I have faith to give me the tools to undo what you do. So my music has always been a way for me to like express how I'm feeling in the moment. Yeah, that's just.
I love those. You're a true poet.
Exactly. I was like, do you do spoken? I think that's one of the things that attracted me to you when you started singing and the words that are coming out of her mouth. We were just like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
like
man,
we all
thank you.
felt that, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Seriously.
I mean,
and you're funny and you give really good hugs.
Thank you, Joe.
So where can they find your EP?
You can find my EP on all major streaming platforms. I'm on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. Anywhere that there's music, you're gonna find Marisha Ashanti.
Yeah, that's a true artist right there. Like,
Thank you.
Poet. I was like, just those first couple lines. I was like, dang. And this was in 2018.
Thank you.
She predicted the future, people.
Yeah, but I when he lost, my husband was like, it was like hugging me. He was like, "You're prophetic.
Yeah,
you're prophetic.
Yeah, you prophesied.
Yeah, he was like, "You're prophetic," and I was like, "Too much pressure. Too much pressure." But yeah, that's why I think your words are very powerful. In the middle of that song is a poem, and it's like confusion. It's all I've ever known. The world around me is constantly passing fake news along. Racism, sexism, homophobic energy, Muslim bans, culture vultures, religious hypocrisy. My favorite to complain about is government mediocrity. They all require a lack of clarity, an overflow of ignorance, and an unwillingness to understand. Confusion is the same old, time and time again. And that's basically how I was feeling at the time, and that's how I feel sometimes, because so much false information get passed along, and we willingly pass it along. We don't do our research. We don't look into it. And that's confusion. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah. And the only way you step out of that is being like, well, let me find out for myself.
Yeah. So, stop watching the news. That's what I would say.
It's not watching the news, CNN, or Fox. They're manipulating you.
Yeah.
You understand people pay them to say the words that they saying.
Yeah.
So when you take everything that they say to heart and allow them to manipulate your emotions, you're doing exactly what people are paying them to do. From the color of their backdrops to the words and the fonts that they choose to show you, from the time that they choose to show you in the corner. All of these things are made to manipulate you, and if you allow it to, it will. Yeah, it's just that simple.
And I also want to add something like question everything.
everything.
Like it's okay to watch the news, but like you said, don't take it to the heart.
Don't
and
take
just
it to
believe
heart.
everything that's happening.
not take it to
Like
heart.
I want to know what's going on at the
Yeah.
same time, man. There's a lot of fear out there.
Facts.
Do you want to be fearful and live a fearful life?
Facts.
I don't. I want to be aware. At the same time, I want to know what's going on. So, but don't believe everything.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's a book. The book I mentioned again, "Women, Race, and Class" by Angela Davis, and she talks about how during like these presidential elections too, like they ramp up our emotions to feel like this way. You'll notice like maybe like 2 years into Trump being in the office, we had a lot of like videos and coverage of black people dying, being shot in the street and things like that. That was a prequel to him not being reelected. Like people literally paid to manipulate your timeline so that you see people that look like you constantly shot, so that you could feel some type of way. That's why you got to disconnect.
Yeah, and also there's a meme online about Malcolm X was saying the biggest entity we have in this world is the media.
Yeah.
Because they control what the masses see and what people see.
The narrative is something else. Like what you see, the reflections you see on TV matter, but they shouldn't be all that matters. You should be the reflection you see in the mirror, and that don't matter if you black, white, yellow, purple, none of that. If you're a good person, you do good things.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. It don't matter what gender you are. It don't matter what sexuality you are. It don't matter what race you are, religion. If you're a good person, you'll do good things, and good things will come to you.
100. Yeah. My old mentor used to always say, it doesn't matter what happens in the White House. It matters what happens in your house.
It really do. It really do. The president is a puppet. That's why when we was like, I think you said, we had Barack Obama and then we had Bill Clinton before Donald Trump. But if we think about it, like these child encampments was built in the Obama period. They just wasn't built to hold children. They was built to hold adults.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like Clinton, before Trump, there was the crime bill led by Clinton, and that put plenty of black people, that incarcerated plenty of African Americans and engulfed them in a system that they did not deserve to be in. So like, yeah, Trump is definitely like a child of him. He's a product of America.
Yeah.
Like when you think about like his ability to divert or like distract you from what's really going on, and live and in time to be like, well, this is not what it's talking about. This is not what we're talking about this. Like, they're a product of America to me. I feel like that's nothing new.
Yeah. And then people forget, like, Trump is not a politician.
No.
Trump is a businessman.
Yeah.
Trump is a wealthy businessman and also a media kind of star, right? Yeah. So what he did is he somehow got into politics and applied all the principles he learned as far as using the media, as far as like knowing how to manipulate, right? Knowing how to be a star. Because I don't know if you guys watch the YouTube channel Nas Daily. He had Facebook, little 1 to 2 minute clips. It's a little Middle Eastern guy. So he said that we need another Trump. And everyone was like, what? Because he's Middle Eastern, right?
Yeah.
But what his video said, not we need another Trump. Trump was smart. His rallies are energetic. He keeps his rhetoric simple so people can understand. Yeah. His rallies are exciting so people feel like they can connect with him.
Facts.
It's like fun. It's like a concert, right?
Yeah.
Then you go to the Democrat and the other Republicans and it's like a library. No offense to that. But it's boring. They don't understand. They can't connect with the politicians.
Yeah.
So of course people are going to like this more, even if it's a lot of not good.
Facts.
Because he knows how to connect with people. He knows how to put on a show. He knows how to use social media, and he used it for his benefit. So if the other politicians, well, thank God, that it is how it is now. Democrats are in power, right? But any politician that wants to be in power should learn from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For the record, both political parties are trash. America.
Right.
The government system was not. I feel like such like an anarchist sometimes. Like I'm like trash. But I think America wasn't built to be built off a two-party system. Yeah. I think with it being so diverse and the melting pot that we proclaim it to be, that it just is impossible for it to fit this many people into two different like groups. So the fact that we only have two, it's almost like it's the same trash can, just two different openings.
Right.
And it's true. It's the same trash can. It's just two different openings. And if you're really smart, you separate yourself from the fact of party and place yourself in like a place of your house. So you shouldn't really worry about who your president is. It really doesn't matter to you. What really matters is who your senators, your congressmen, your mayor, who your chief of sanitary like actions, those people who deal with everyday things that you touch, because those are the people who actually have contact with the president. But we don't pay attention to the mid elections. We pay attention to the presidential election, and then that's also why that's on purpose. Like that's done on purpose so that they want a big hype to be up about who the president is, because that distracts you from the people that actually are held responsible for communicating your needs. So you don't care about who your senator is, you don't care about who your congressman is, you don't care about who your mayor is, but they control the budget for your education. They control the budget for something as simple as like sanitary action. So like picking up the trash around your job, making sure like the pipes that in the irrigation system is like well and capable.
Your water,
Flint,
Michigan.
Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's literally a little black girl out there right now that's like, hey y'all, our water's still dirty, cuz. Yeah. And then like just pause 1 minute. We about to go around the Capitol. We about to go storm the Capitol real quick. We'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? So
I like how you said that, because it is both of them are going to say whatever they need to say to get in power. They're going to do what their agenda is, right? But I think it's silly how some people vote for a party that has no benefit to them. That's ludicrous. Yeah. So I'm bipartisan. I'm in the middle. I have Republican values and I have Democratic values.
Same.
I vote for what benefits me and my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a registered independent. Okay. So I don't vote during like primaries and stuff.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not going to name names, but I have religious family.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say you're super religious.
Yeah.
But you're poor. And you vote Republican. Republicans are not here to help poor people.
No, not even.
They are. Democrats help poor. They help.
Yeah. So they give the illusion of helping. Poor people.
So they're going to give a lot of stimulus. That's for sure, right? Yeah. So my whole point to that is, just look at your family and your life.
Facts.
And then look at, like you said, what are they for?
Yeah.
Are they? If you're rich, you better vote Republican, no matter what color your skin is. Otherwise, your taxes are going to go sky high. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're maybe middle class, if you're maybe a little like poor, and it's funny because most of those Republicans are not very wealthy. Right?
Yeah, I'm saying bust the system as a whole. Like, bump being Democrat or Republican, bump being an independent. Like, you need to talk to these candidates straight up and ask them, what can you do for me as a person?
Yeah.
Not as a Democrat, not as a Republican. If you're a black woman, say that specifically. If you're a Filipino woman, say that specifically. If you're a Latino male, what can you do for me and my community specifically?
Right.
Have them answer that and then take from what they say. Because they're going to give you...
Fact check.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. But if you made it to a level at which that I have to ask you what you can do for me, you have a record. Yeah. Go check their record. See what they say, compare it to their record, and then vote based off that.
Yeah.
Having a party, it messes... Voting based on party is kind of like obsolete to me, because I feel like at one point, Republicans... the narrative of each party has shifted. Republicans were like anti-slavery at one point. That was the side you wanted to be on. If you were African American,
he was a Republican, right?
Time has changed. Times have changed. So it's like it's just a name, guys. It's the same trash can, two different slots. Yeah. You can choose to either like jump in the trash can, or you can choose to be like, hey. No.
Yeah.
Like what else is there to offer me?
Just choose a trash can that benefits you and your family. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Right? Yeah.
Choose a trash can your nets can flourish in.
Yeah. I like that. Right? Choose a trash can your nets can flourish.
You in the system already. That's why I'm like, I think voting is important. You should absolutely vote. I think I have blood ties to that. My ancestors died so that I can vote. Yeah. So that I can choose whether or not I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So when I exercise that right to vote, I do it for much more than the candidates on that ballot. I do it for the people that have been before me. But what I am saying is, don't just do it for that either. Like, they voted for you to make a conscious decision.
Yeah.
So you need to make that conscious decision before you head to the ballots. You don't need to be going to the ballots, picking the president, and then Christmas treeing the rest. That's trash. That's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you said, all those other votes probably are more important to you than
It matters.
than the main one.
They're
You know
gonna
what I mean?
affect your quality
The
of life.
propositions, and most people just they're kind of just like, oh, okay, that
The
one looks good.
propositions.
Yeah,
Yeah. This election, we were able to ensure that not black people, excuse me, that prisoners are able now, like prisoner firefighters who do
Yeah.
that labor work, they can now become professional firefighters once they
Wow,
leave
that's awesome.
prison. That was never a thing. Like
Yeah.
they would leave, they would finish their terms in prison, and then cannot do that profession that they have the skills in.
Yeah.
And isn't that crazy that you've risked your life, especially somewhere here like in California where there's a whole season for fires, and you work based on that prison labor.
Yeah.
Like you have a large percentage of prison labor working towards like fire management and things of that nature. Those people leave jail and prison and they cannot do those services no more. That's not rehabilitating those people. That's taking advantage of them. That's taking advantage of them.
That's because prison is not to rehabilitate; it's a business.
Nah, it's a pipeline.
Yeah. So I don't know if you, again, I don't know the exact amendment, but when they abolished slavery, they created a new type of slavery.
Yeah,
it's called
13th
prisons.
Amendment.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said you cannot enslave unless they
are a prisoner.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless
right?
they break the law. That's how cops came about. They were originally slave catchers.
Yeah. So it just, again, woke, change, learn, educate yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like the new slavery is prisons.
Yeah.
It's also corporations.
Yeah.
Because corporations is kind of like economic slavery.
The new slavery is social media.
Again, too, right? That's happiness slavery.
That's the new slavery is social media because they're able to manipulate the algorithm to show you things.
Did you see the social dilemma?
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Same here.
Man, the new slavery is social media. And if you do not disconnect, you will become victim to it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why it's like it's a tool. Like don't don't get emotionally involved with it like 24/7. It's a great tool for business and expressing yourselves.
Yeah,
and
facts.
as artists
Those
and
people that
creators.
created it don't allow their kids to use it until they're in high school. That should tell you something.
Okay, and then if you think about like the evolution of slavery itself, it's always going to change its face, but its basis will always be the same of taking advantage of somebody and profiting from that. And when you think about like how it transitioned from like physical slave labor, like blatant in your face, and then it went from that to prison labor, things of that nature. And now we are slaves to our phones. We are slaves to these screens. We are slaves into these images that we feel like we need to be, we have to be. So like in my community, rappers are really big chains, big ice. You know, you want to be iced out. You want all these things. But did you know that diamonds are depreciating and compressed gold is where it's at? Are your rapper friends telling you that?
They should have a Bitcoin necklace.
They should have a Bitcoin necklace. Yeah, you should have a stock. I got stocks from Amazon as soon as I got hired. Those stocks was valued at like a stack. After the post-pandemic, they're around 3,000 a stack of 3,000 a stock.
Wow. What did you get them at?
Amazon.
No, when you got them, what were they at?
Well, I got them around like 15. Well, my first job I had was with Amazon Go, and I got one stock, and that was at 1,500.
So you basically doubled your money.
Oh no, because I got with Goodreads, and I got a good bit more stock.
Okay. So you're learning about what the wealthy know.
Yeah,
right?
because you had the option. This is just a key. Not to. I'm not a fan of talking about my pockets, but it's just a key when you have the option in certain places in large corporations to accept a lower salary for more stock.
Yeah.
Like stock within that company, and with businesses like Amazon, over time they only are going to grow. They acquire things like, technology that allows you to work without humans being present.
Ownership.
Yeah. And they start off with books, then they take over e-commerce, and now they working their way into like medicine and things of that nature.
Wait, medicine like what?
Like the delivery of medicine from an e-commerce perspective, and then also like delivery in general from being from like no contact, so like drones dropping into your backyard and shit like that. Yeah, right. Amazon is constantly elevating. Amazon is a great
or like
ecosystem.
You said, create an Amazon. Create
People
the
of color.
Create the Amazon. Actually, they do. They have one in Africa. It's called Jesus, what's it called? Oh, I don't have my phone. Anyways.
Yeah.
There's an Amazon for Africa. and it's taking over Africa.
Yeah, you know,
basically.
Amazon is in Africa too. Amazon is in South Africa.
Yeah, I have stock in them, and
It's
it's
where
going
it's
to
at.
yeah.
It's where it's
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
It's where
So
it's
there
at,
you
man.
go, right?
That's
Yeah.
another. And I think Tesla just went up.
Jumia.
Jumia.
Jumia can be Africa's Amazon by enabling third-party e-commerce.
Third party
Jumia,
e-commerce.
you heard it here on the Bliss Seekers first. That's going to be the Amazon of Africa.
Yeah, the only person that's like really messing with Amazon and e-commerce right now is going to be Walmart.
Yeah.
That's it.
So a couple things. We'll wrap it up and then we'll get to the questions. The voting. I agree with you. 2 trash cans, same place. However, this is the only country that's been able to hold at least some type of democracy for over almost 300 years. Other countries, like, our videographers from Syria, do you know their voting system? Are you voting for the president? Yes or no? Are you voting for the president? Yes or no? Are you voting for the president? Yes or no? And guess what happens to the people that say no?
I don't want to know.
They're probably not around. Right?
I don't want to know.
So even though the parties are trash and whatever, at least we still have that ability to somewhat
for
affect,
sure.
right? And this is the only country. That's why you have things like in Venezuela that's going on, where the country's like super hyperinflation and people are struggling just to find food, right? That so far, no dictators here. No Kim Jong-un or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have our flaws, but at least we haven't had I think Trump was trying his best.
I mean, we got dictators. We got dictators. You just don't ever see them on the TV screen.
Right.
Got people that move and like America is beautiful. And I definitely don't want to misspeak about that. I think America, it really is the land of opportunity where you can come from nothing and become anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful part. But it will eat you alive if you let it.
Be woke, question everything. You know what I mean? Don't just vote because
be conscious. Be conscious because I with woke, like that made me so tired thinking of woke, because like your body need rest at some point, and so does your mind, and I would think that your soul does too. So I mean, be conscious. You know what I mean? Like, cause we'll tire ourselves. Like, well, who was that? James Baldwin to be a conscious African American in the system is to be insane. To be insane,
true.
You know what I mean. So be gentle with yourself.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah. So be gentle with yourself. Take time with yourself. Recognize that everything around you will not be perfect, but you dictate the path at which you go.
Yes, 100%.
Powerful.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect spot to transition. You are deep. You are wise. I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and we always finish it off with some. Well, speaking of deep, I mean that was deep. Perfect transition to Joe's 6Qs, because she goes deep. She's gonna ask us some some
like
powerful questions.
Ocean deep.
Ocean deep. Right?
You are
So,
ocean deep.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'll hand it over to Joe, and she'll go ahead
We'll
and
see.
ask some
Well,
questions.
anyway, before we get into that, wow. Like, I'm just like, I want to write notes and everything that you just said.
Oh man, thank you.
So
Joe.
many powerful words. So thank you. And for the reminder to like be gentle with yourself too.
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
Yeah, I really like that. Like, there's some things you said. I need to go back and write it down.
Right?
Because I was like, dang. I was like, that's a meme or something. Yeah, you were busting out some memes.
Generational blessings.
Yeah.
I want them on a shirt.
We're gonna
Hoodie,
create a shirt.
but-
And we're gonna put that quote.
Yeah,
on there.
put a little dash
and
down
then
there.
we'll put your little stuff on
I
the back.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Ooh,
I
put a
appreciate
signature.
that.
Trademark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely gonna give you the credit for that one.
Man, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. What's your number one wish for the world?
My number one wish for the world is that we learn to love ourselves. Because in loving ourselves, we'll learn to love one another in a proper manner. Really loving yourself is you really can't change the world till you change yourself. So if we learn to love ourselves on like a very base level, like a very I'm human, it's okay. You will learn to be gentle with others and nice to others. So yeah.
Thank you.
That's right. They say hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. I know that with no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt with no doubt.
Hurt people become healed people when they take another route. Yeah, that's a poem.
She's a poet and she does know it. Yeah.
Okay. How do you protect your energy?
That's a good question. I think I protect my energy by creating boundaries. Allow myself room to heal, process, not reacting to everything that comes across. Understanding that it may be crazy going around, but long as it's sanity and within my head, within my mind, within my heart, I should be able to wield the world into what I want it to be.
Exactly. Speechless here. Like, wow.
Y'all funny, man.
You do have to protect yourself, though.
Yeah,
Facts.
no matter what.
Especially if you're empathic.
Oh man, yeah.
You definitely got to protect
Me and my
yourself.
Feel a
friend-
lot.
Me and my homegirl was just talking about that, how you have to like create boundaries for yourself.
Absolutely.
As well as others. And those who respect it are really there for you, and those who don't, you should really take that in consideration when dealing with them.
Yeah, not just boundaries, standards too.
Yeah.
Because people create boundaries, but they don't create standards.
Yes, that's so good.
Champions rise to standards.
That's facts.
Nobody likes rules.
Yeah.
The champions rise to standards.
Facts. That's so
So I'll
facts.
throw that in there. Yeah.
That's so facts.
Yeah.
I love going above and beyond. You're so right.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about your hoodie. The first thing I noticed when I saw you. So it's
Shout out to Drew Money.
Yeah. Shout out to you,
Yeah.
Drew Money.
Shout out to Drew Money, young billionaire.
Basically, what is death to racism to you?
Death to racism is the deprecation of white male toxicity and white male supremacy. It is the ability for us to live in a place and space where the system that we have now is dismantled. It is us really going inside the homes and teaching our children and our children's children and our children's children that we are all created equal and we all bring something to the table that's magical. And when we mix it in a pot, it's just gumbo. It's flavor.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Death to racism
love
is
that.
us being able to love one another. It means us to be.
Act like a 2-year-old.
Mhm.
No fear.
No fear.
Thinks big.
Yeah.
Doesn't judge anybody by their color.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah. Let's
You know what I
all,
mean?
let's
Yeah.
all be 2-year-olds. No
Yeah.
pants, man.
We're all born
Wear a
perfect. We're all born perfect, but we get messed up by those weird humans in our life. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Okay.
That's so true.
That was a good question. I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, okay, so I know you mentioned about spiritual and healing and stuff like that. So what are some of your self-care routines that you want to share with people out there who doesn't know how to do any self-care rituals?
Self-care, I think meditation is important.
Mhm.
And meditation is like going within yourself. So meditation for me is listening to this meditation app and washing dishes in the morning.
Which app is that?
Oh man, you
You would say it or not? It's okay.
no, you can say it. I forgot the name of it. Do you know?
Inside Timer.
Yeah, Inside Timer.
That's a good
and it's
one.
so
Mhm.
good. Chanel Stroman put me on that. But yeah, I find that meditation is really important. A moment with yourself, and then I also find like doing things that you love, like actively doing things that make you happy, like literally seeking out those things that make you happy.
Following your bliss.
Follow your bliss.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
I was about to say that. All right. Okay. You have 48 hours left to live. What is the first thing and the last thing you would do?
Oh man. Gosh,
Exactly.
man. 48 hours was okay.
Okay.
The first thing I'm doing, I'm probably gonna cry because I'm about to die in 48 hours. Probably gonna have a good cry and like reflect. The last thing I'm doing, I'm probably gonna spend. I would probably spend my last hours with my husband. The first thing I'm doing is probably like getting around family and friends, people I love, and then the last thing I'm doing is being with Nigel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very special to have somebody like that.
Shout out to Nigel, man.
Shout out to Nigel. What's
Shout
up,
out to my
dude?
bestie. What's up, man?
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
No, thank you, Joe.
All right. Okay. Last one. At the end of your life, how would you like to be remembered?
At the end of my life, I would like to be remembered exactly for what I will be remembered by, how I made people feel.
100.
Yeah,
Right
and
there.
whatever that is, like
Yeah.
I'm learning to be like gentle with myself and really like loving me in the place that I am, like right now, currently, because I'm a perfectionist, so sometimes I get caught up in the idea or the potential of me, and I frustrate myself. I be frustrated. I'm like, you're not at your best. This is not your best. You can do better. But I'm learning that, you know, I can't hold on to time. And I wasted, you know, being sad or being upset about the things that I haven't done. So it's important for me to be gentle with myself. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was deep. Deep, wise,
Thank you.
loving,
Thank you.
godlike, because that's what love means,
Yeah.
right? A great committed partnership, power couple, right? Man, you heard it all here.
You're living your purpose.
Yeah.
You're a
Thank
woman
you.
with purpose.
Yeah, I
I'm
learned a
really
lot
grateful.
from you, and when I watch this again, I'm gonna write down all them quotes.
Man.
There's gonna be some memes, some T-shirts, right?
Some
Yeah.
captions, you know.
Yeah,
Credit
yeah.
Marisha Ashanti.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
but
Thank
yeah.
y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
No, we appreciate you, and I mean, I don't think this will be the last time we'll have you on here.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, yeah.
No, man. Please don't.
Yeah. But
After your album, next album comes out, whatever you have out next time.
Yeah,
Let us
man.
know.
We got to do something else, man.
Yeah.
When y'all go nomadic, I'll be around. I'm
Yeah, let's
everywhere,
do it.
man.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, but again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Again, if you guys like this video, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash that like button. We're gonna leave all her information in the description
Yes,
below,
sir.
and hit that bell so you get notified for when the new videos come out. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
thank you, thank you. Right,
Thank you.
it was awesome. And any last words, Joe?
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, big shout out to Desi and Ev, and for some reason, also to the universe.
Yeah.
For law of attraction, like you said,
Yeah.
you know, it led us together.
Facts.
And not just me and you, but Ruby, Des,
Yeah.
you know, Des knows her,
Chanel,
Desi, Nev, Chanel,
Brittany, Jazz.
all these other women
Yeah.
creators, and also
I call them my creative cousins.
creative cousins. Yeah.
You guys are all my creative cousins. Whenever we're like a unit, man. We're a unit. We can accomplish anything together.
It's beautiful.
Anything.
I mean, other than that, I'm grateful for this platform too, you know, and to have you guys here. And as much as you guys are supporting me, I want to support you.
Yeah.
You know, and we have this studio up in Campbell, California.
Yes, sir.
Autumn, Isaac. You know, yeah. Anyway, if you guys like this video, please share.
Share.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel.
Sharing is caring, right?
Yeah.
And as always,
Follow
your bliss.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Our goal, as always, is to become the #1 podcast in the world. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you share this with 3 of your friends. And if you like our intro song, please check out my good friend Maroni Silva's band, A Dead Desire, on YouTube. That song is called The Mantra. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, follow your bliss.